Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dogman tapes. If you are a returning subscriber, I wanted to thank you so much for your continued support. It means so much to me. We are gaining subscribers every single day, and I am so thrilled by it. And if this is your first time here, welcome. We welcome you with open arms, and we hope that you subscribe and stick around and listen to all of the neat, creepy encounters that I have. This evening, I have an encounter for you I have called Nightmare House, and for good reason. I do not believe that this is a Dogman. I believe that this is Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I just want to put that out there. Secondly, if you guys hear anything in the background, I am so sorry. I am juggling 10 things at once, but I really wanted to get this uploaded for you all. I am in the middle of making bread pudding, and so I just wanted to tell you that. And it smells so good in here. It smells so cinnamony and yummy. I wish you could smell it through your device. But anyways, I'm going to stop blabbing. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and read you this encounter that was sent to me. She says, we had been house hunting for over 2 years for the perfect home for our growing family. We finally found what seemed to be our dream home. It had the perfect space, a gorgeous kitchen, a wraparound deck, and a big yard that looked out to the mountains. My only issue was, I wished it wasn't so far from everything. This house was in the middle of the woods, and we were the only home for over 2 miles. But the price was unbeatable, and it is a beautiful home. No one had lived in it for over 3 years, the realtor said. Our first few months were great. No complaints, other than from my children, who had not wanted to change schools, but they eventually settled in. The first time anything odd happened, myself and my daughter had been watching TV in the living room. My son was upstairs on his computer and my husband at work. I was 4 months pregnant, much to our surprise. We were not planning on having a baby. My kids are preteens, but it was a blessing, and we were so excited. This was mid-July. I remember because we had just celebrated the 4th. Now, our living room has big wall-to-floor windows that go all around the room. The view is spectacular. This was nighttime, though, so we couldn't see outside very well. I remember the motion lights had kept clicking on the side of the house, which I thought was odd. We have a dog, but he wasn't outside. I remember hearing a sound like small rocks being thrown at the house. Not the windows, but the side of the house, by the dining room. My daughter had made a joke that maybe the squirrels were mad we moved into their space and they were throwing stuff at us. We had a good chuckle and continued watching TV. Next, something hit the side of the home that made the walls shudder. Our dog Tank got up and started to growl. Tank is a husky, and he is quite big for his breed and very protective of our family. I went over and tried to see out the window. I did not see anything. Well, as much as I could see in the dark, I turned on all the outdoor lights and sat back down. Tank began crying to go outside, so I let him out. I thought, well, if there is an animal out there, he will scare it away. About 10 minutes after I let him out, he began barking and growling. I got up and swung open the door and yelled for him to come inside. Just then, a powerful and loud howl could be heard from the side of our home where the sounds had come from earlier. At this time, Tank ran inside and seemed spooked. This dog never gets spooked, ever. My daughter was getting very uneasy, and my son had come down to see what the sound was all about. We were on edge the rest of that evening, but nothing else happened that night. Approximately 2 weeks later, I was coming home from work, and to my shock and horror, my daughter's cat, Sprinkles, was laying there dead on our porch. I knew he was dead. As I walked up, he would always greet me, but this time he was as still as a statue. As I got closer, I dropped my bag as the sight I saw made me cry. Sprinkle's head appeared to be ripped off his body. I could see pieces of his skin and insides hanging. I will spare you the rest as it's very unpleasant, but I immediately ran inside to get a trash bag so I could remove him. I did not want my kids seeing this. What would I even say? What kind of an animal rips the head off so perfectly like that of another animal? And why would they? We never found his head. So why would a predator take the smallest part of the body? I kept thinking. I told my husband what happened, and he could not explain it either. My husband grew up in the country, and he said he had never seen anything quite like that. For the next few weeks, we kept a close watch on the kids and Tank. My daughter was not in the best of moods those weeks, following after she had lost her cat. We told her that it was old age and she was an old cat, or I don't know what we would have told her. For the next month or so, it seems that every night we would hear howling or hooting or whooping. It's hard to describe. We would often have things thrown at our windows and house. My son even told us that he saw amber-colored eyes from the woods one evening. My husband thought maybe it was his imagination from all the strange things that had been happening. My husband told me maybe we should not talk about this as much as he was worried we were getting the kids worked up. Let's fast forward to about 3 weeks. Everyone is at home. It's a weekend. My husband and myself had just come in from lounging on our deck, staring up at the stars with a good glass of wine. No sooner had I sat the wine bottle on the kitchen island, and boom! Something hit our door down by our living room and hit it hard. So hard that the pictures on the wall beside that door fell and shattered on the tile by the entrance. I remember being filled with sheer terror of the thought that what and why could do this. My husband grabbed his gun and told me to get ready to call 911. I prayed my kids were asleep or preoccupied with their devices, and thankfully, they were. My husband grabbed a flashlight from the drawer and went outside. I grabbed a smaller flashlight and shined it out the door to try and see what was going on. I had my phone open and set to call 911. I had actually pre-dialed 911 so I could dial quickly should I need to. I could see my husband outside, sweeping the yard with his light. And then I saw them. I saw 2 sets of eyes peering from the wood line. I began clicking my flashlight off and on to try and get his attention. He turned to look in the door at me, and I cracked the door and said, "There's 2 sets of eyes right in front of you. Get in here." He stayed outside and went to investigate. I was so angry with him. I was so mad that he was staying out there with who knows what. Just then, I could hear fast and hard running. I opened the door up fully now and screamed, "They are coming at you!" My husband began backing up and telling me to get inside. I threw on all the lights, and there, as plain as day, stood 2 beings, 2 creatures, 2 monsters, approximately 9 feet tall and covered in a reddish-brown hair, or at least that's the color they looked like in this light. These things were like beasts. Their size was immense. My huge refrigerator we had just bought came to my mind. Their girth was wider than my fridge. Their arms slunk down past their knees. They kind of swayed a bit, back and forth. My husband and I stood in shock. We didn't speak. I remember locking the door as if that would have kept those things out. I remember feeling like nothing could protect us. Nothing was big enough or strong enough to keep these things at bay. I remember thinking all of a sudden, "Where's Tank?" I spun around to find him a few feet behind us with his hair up, looking out the door. These things stood there watching us for a good full minute before they turned and disappeared into the woodline. I remember my husband and myself arguing about what we had just seen. My husband struggled to come with terms of what we had just seen. It was an awful night, and by the next day, neither of us had slept. My husband started looking online for any info we could find. He became obsessed. He called out of work for the next few days and just sat on that computer. The next month was rocky, and we were all on edge. The last time we saw them was in the middle of the night about 2 weeks ago. We awoke to banging on the house again. My husband grabbed his gun once again, but this time went out the back deck, which is up one level off the ground. We felt safer up there. We couldn't see a thing, nothing as far as the eye could see, and we almost went inside. When my husband spotted one standing by my garden, looking up at us, swaying again like last time. But we only saw one this time. He is the bigger of the two, so I am assuming he's male. He disappeared into the woods again. The next day, I found my garden in ruins. I found my tomatoes all gone, my cucumbers half eaten and half left, my strawberries all gone, and my watermelon gone. I was pissed and scared at the same time. Our dream home was becoming a nightmare home. We are still here. My husband has installed more lighting around our perimeter, and we have gotten another dog. We rescued a 4-year-old boxer mix. These things may do absolutely nothing but make us feel better. I will keep you updated, and if anything serious happens, I will let you know. We appreciate you letting us share our story. I was so thrilled to stumble upon your channel. I was twice as thrilled when I heard you speak and found you were a woman. It's about time, Allison. Aw, thank you, Allison. It's very, very sweet of you to say. And I hope that all of you enjoyed this encounter. I hope, Allison, that you stay safe. And if anything more serious happens, please let me know and keep me updated. I can't imagine living in fear like that on a daily basis. I just can't imagine. I feel so bad for you. And if any of my listeners out there have gone through anything similar and you have any tips that you can give her, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section. I am sure that she will see them and read them. And if not, I will tell her myself. It just sometimes feels nice to know that you're not alone, to know that other people have experienced the same thing, that you're not going crazy, and that you are surrounded by a group of people who understand. So, and if any of you out there have had an encounter that you would like to share with me and be on my channel, you can email me at thedogmantapes@gmail.com. I will also put that in the description of the video. You can go ahead and email me. I will never give any information you're not comfortable giving. I will never release names, etc. I will strictly share with everybody only what you're comfortable sharing. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And until next time, see you soon.